Four Ways, just north of Johannesburg. And as I was saying earlier on, this is the venue for the latest in the series of New Age business briefings brought to you by the SABC, and today kindly sponsored by Telkom. Now, a lot of things are going to be discussed in a short while with the Minister of Communications, who you know is the shareholder at the SABC. But a lot of things have also been happening at the SABC itself, and this is an important week because a whole process of starting to draw up editorial policies is going to take place. And to tell us a little bit more about that, I'm now joined by the Group CEO, Lulama Mkhoba. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Welcome to you.
Thank you, Peter.
All right, so this editorial process, it's required by legislation that we need to review them periodically, and it starts this week. Why is it so important to do this?
We are a public broadcaster, and it's crucial that the public not only understands but gives input as to how we cover events. It doesn't matter what they are or whether it is children's programming right down to news programming. It's very important that the public's voice is heard. And what we'll then do once we've garnered the opinions of all stakeholders and the public is we'll make sure that those inputs are taken into account when we do the final document.
All right, so typically what kind of a policy, just as an example, can people, when they engage and they say, I want this to change, what sort of things are you looking for comment on?
First of all, we have the editorial policies that were created way back in 2004, and they were reviewed once around 2008. It is now time for the policies to go through yet another review. And the reason we do that is because there's so much that has changed in the environment. And as public broadcasters move forward and get engaged with the new media, and move to an era of interactivity and user-generated content, which is very difficult to manage if you just accept it the way it is. It's very important that we pause and say, well, are we doing things the right way? And are our policies in keeping with the new developments? Is the public happy with how we have been managing our content up to this stage? And if not, what needs to change?
All right, I know that you've already started a conversation with the stakeholders, various stakeholders already. How has that gone? And I believe it starts in Mafikeng this week, and you'll go right around the country engaging with the public.
It's been quite interesting because the sense that we get is the public, certainly the stakeholders who range from parliamentary groupings right down to our suppliers, have expressed general happiness with the policies as they stand, but there are a few issues that they raise. Certainly, how far are we going with ensuring that we meet the requirements of people with disability? How far are we able to meet the language requirements of the country, given that we are a multicultural, multilingual society? To what extent are we able to be as proportionate as we should be in how we represent languages? And thirdly, whether or not the group chief executive ultimately has the final say in the editorial content of the news. And the looking at the programs ranges from everything, from children's programs to advertising, to news, as I said, news and current affairs, as I said earlier.
All right, perhaps finally, how can people get involved? If they miss these hearings in their areas, is there any way they can engage via email, phone? How else can they get involved?
Oh, absolutely, they can do that, but we're also going to be running a series of radio talk shows with call-ins, so people can actually call in. They can engage with us through our social media, your Twitter, and everybody else's who has a Twitter handle. And also on the website, there will be a space for people to put in their comments on what we're doing.
Thank you so much for joining us on the program and pointing us to this opportunity to influence how the public broadcasters run. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you.